Today's news highlights 20250710. Date July 10, 2025. July 10, 114, Republic of China. Time cutoff time, 1500 hours on the same day. News highlights: consuming one hot dog or sausage, about 50 grams of processed meat, per day increases the risk of colorectal cancer by 7% and type 2 diabetes by 11%. 14%. Studies have pointed out that processed meats such as sausages, bacon, and ham contain nitrites, which are easily converted into carcinogens in the body, and high-temperature frying produces more carcinogens. Processed meat may also cause chronic inflammation and imbalance in the gut. Doctors call for regular screening and a healthy diet to help prevent colorectal cancer and other chronic diseases. News highlights: known as the queen of vegetables, onions are rich in vitamin C, potassium, selenium, and sulfur-containing compounds, which have multiple health effects such as enhancing immunity, anti-inflammation, lowering blood lipids, stabilizing blood sugar, and anti-cancer. Purple onions have the strongest antioxidant power, yellow onions are rich in potassium to protect blood vessels, and white onions are high in calcium to help bones. It is recommended to consume half to 1 capsule per day, and the nutrition of raw food is more complete. However, people with gastrointestinal problems, allergies, or taking anticoagulants should be cautious to avoid discomfort. News highlights: gastroesophageal reflux, if left untreated, may lead to esophageal cancer. Feng Qian, a physician at Mieli Daqian Hospital, pointed out that 3 patients had precancerous lesions. Common causes include cardiolaxity, stress, and poor diet. Treatment can be a combination of diet control and medication, and in severe cases, laparoscopic minimally invasive surgery can be considered to suture the cardia. Doctors recommend that high-risk groups should undergo gastroscopy every 1 to 2 years for early detection and treatment to prevent esophageal cancer. News highlights: dietitian Xue Xiaojing recommends chicken soup with onions and onions, which is made with natural phytochemical ingredients such as onions, green onions, and garlic, which has antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and immune-enhancing effects. Studies have shown that allicin can increase the activity of natural killer cells, and quercetin can help inhibit viruses. It is recommended to consume 1 to 2 cloves of raw garlic, 1 to 1 onion, and 1 to 2 shallots every day. People with stomach sensitivity or taking anticoagulant drugs should pay attention to the amount of intake. Diet combined with good lifestyle habits can help enhance epidemic prevention efforts. News highlights: China announced export controls on 8 Taiwanese military enterprises on the grounds that they were seeking independence by force. The list includes Hangxiang, Chinese Academy of Sciences, Taiwan Shipbuilding, CITIC Shipbuilding, etc. The response of many Taiwanese factories has been limited, as the defense industry has long avoided the use of Chinese-made components. Experts pointed out that the CCP's move symbolizes that the intention of intimidation is greater than the actual impact, and the purpose is to pressure Taiwan's military industry to develop independently and create a chilling effect. The MAC condemned the Chinese Communists' weaponization of economy and trade, reiterated that strengthening national defense autonomy is an established policy, and that the Taiwan people resolutely oppose the Chinese Communists' coercion. News highlights: U.S. President Donald Trump issued another tariff letter on July 9 to 6 countries, including the Philippines, Iraq, and Moldova, imposing tariffs of up to 30% on their goods if a trade deal is not reached by August 1. Together with the 14 countries notified on the 7th, a total of 20 countries are affected. The U.S. also announced a 50% tariff on imported copper and proposed a tariff of up to 200% on pharmaceuticals. At the same time, China has warned the U.S. not to restart the trade war and will take countermeasures to rule out China's supply chain actions. News highlights: eating watermelon in summer is cool, but it is easy to get wet and soft after being cut and affect the taste. Food experts recommend mixing diced watermelon with a small amount of sugar and refrigerating it in a colander for 30 minutes to drain excess water and make it firmer and more delicious. This principle is that sugar absorbs water through osmosis, which is milder than salt, and is suitable for preparing watermelon salad or picnics. When choosing watermelons, you can follow the 4's rule of color, spots, sound, and size to choose sweet and juicy melons. News highlights: after a decade of breakthrough Parkinson's research, a research team from Taiwan's Yangming Jiaotong University discovered that intracellular lysosomes are responsible for breaking down toxic protein alpha that have accumulated in the cell synuclein. The key gene GAK/auxiliary regulates the acidic maintenance and clearance function of lysosomes, and avoids the accumulation of toxic proteins leading to the degeneration of dopamine neurons. The results were published in the international journal Autophagy create opportunities for disease mitigation and new treatments. In the future, it will focus on the precise removal of toxic proteins and the regulation of nerve inflammation, and look forward to promoting the transformation of basic research into clinical treatment. News highlights: Dream Plaza, a new lifestyle mall in Taipei's Xinyi district, will open on July 25, becoming a new choice for summer vacations and weekend getaways. The mall has a unique design, with skylights and sky gardens on the top floor to create natural light and green spaces. On the 6th floor, the world's largest Starbucks store is located, providing an immersive experience that combines coffee art, architectural aesthetics, and local culture. B2 is connected to the MRT, which is convenient for commuters. Bola opened a physical flagship bookstore for the first time, with 30,000 books and digital technology to enhance the new reading experience, gather a variety of food and bar brands, and is expected to become a new landmark in Xinyi district. News highlights: in the second half of 2025, we will usher in the summer vacation to go abroad, and we recommend 5 high-reward brainless swipe God cards, including DBS Echo Perpetual Card, Yoshin Unicard, Taishan Sun/Rose Card, Cathay Pacific Cube Card and Taishan Fly Go Card, all of which provide more than 3% overseas spending reward. Japan Travel recommends Yoshin Kumaman Card, up to 8.5% cashback and designated store discounts. South Korea Tourism has launched Taiwan's new Sun Card/Rose Card Korean Crazy Swiping program, and the feedback through designated channels is up to 10%. Before going abroad, it is recommended to set up e-bill and automatic deduction, and flexibly combine multiple cards to enjoy the greatest benefits. News highlights: US President Trump announced the first batch of 14 countries on the 7th to impose tariffs ranging from 25% to 40% on Japan, South Korea, and other countries, and if there is no agreement, it will take effect on August 1st. Trump will announce more national tax rates in batches, as tense and suspenseful as a beauty pageant, and countries waiting for the list to be announced, such as Taiwan and the European Union, are waiting with bated breath. Experts pointed out that the move highlights Trump's trade strategy for Asia, which strictly guards against transshipment behavior, and Singapore and the Philippines are not listed, suggesting that a trade deal may be imminent. Negotiations are progressing well in India, and concessions on agricultural products could help a deal take shape. News highlights: shipments of NVIDIA's GB200 server cabinets have grown rapidly since the second quarter, and Morgan Stanley expects shipments to increase by 60% to 10,000 to 11,000 containers in the third quarter. Honhai, Wistron, and Quanta benefited significantly and were all rated outperform. In the second quarter, Honhai shipped approximately 3,000 containers, Wistron shipped 1,800 to 1,900 containers, and Broad 1,200 to 1,300 containers. Honhai's shipments exceeded 1,000 containers in June. Wistron's revenue increased significantly, but some products decreased month-on-month, while Quanta's revenue continued to increase due to the increase in shipments of laptops and GB200. News highlights: Taiwan's reciprocal tariff rate is about to be announced, and the Executive Yuan's economic and trade team continues to negotiate in the United States without interruption. Although the US side has taken a tough stance, there is still room for negotiations in Taiwan, and the tariffs will take effect on August 1st. The United States has announced new tariff rates for 14 countries, most of which are similar to those in early April. Taiwan hopes to seek more favorable treatment for the 32% tariffs announced in April, and has actively proposed goodwill such as expanding investment in the United States, including TSMC's plan to increase its investment of $100 billion. According to informed sources, the US side has a positive view of the talks, and the focus of the talks includes reducing the trade deficit and non-tariff obstacles, and Taiwan will strive for the most reasonable tariffs, and the progress of the talks will be personally followed by President Lai Ching-te. News highlights: the generative artificial intelligence, AI, boom has driven NVIDIA stock to continue to rise, and NVIDIA's stock price rose 2.6% in early trading on the 9th, with a market capitalization of more than $4 trillion, becoming the first company in history to reach this milestone. NVIDIA's market capitalization exceeded $2 trillion for the first time since February 2024, and stood above $3 trillion for the first time in June, showing strong growth momentum. TSMC ADR also rose 1.8% over the same period, reflecting the overall performance of the semiconductor sector. News highlights: ever wondered how the combination of horoscope and MBTI personality affects you and your partner's wealth horoscope? Some zodiac signs times MBTI pairings are a match made in heaven, bringing out the best in each other and creating new heights of wealth. The top 5 golden combinations include Sagittarius ENFJ and Aries ESFP, who are invincible in the market with vision and enthusiasm. Gemini ENTP and Aquarius INTP lead scientific and technological innovation with creativity and rationality. Capricorn ESTJ and Scorpio INFJ have both workplace strategy and insight. Leo ENTJ and Libra ENFP, leadership and charisma make the king of the business world. The champion is Taurus ISTJ and Virgo INTJ, and the steady plan works together to build a sophisticated financial machine, and making money has become the norm in life. News highlights: after 10 years of diving, Zhang Hui will perform on July 11th with None. Yes concert returned to the stage, thanks to the waiting of 2.6 million fans, and the total number of double eggs in Beijing was increased to 23. After fighting cancer and having her voice damaged, she finally overcame the disease and regained her singing voice, insisted on practicing singing, and her sword was not old. Is like a sister and brother with Zhou, and often accompanies tours and takes care of children during retirement. Now that there are no guests and she is fully engaged, looking forward to reuniting with her fans with music, she said emotionally, I am really happy to be able to sing to everyone now. News highlights: US President Donald Trump announced new tariffs for many countries from August 1st, with Brazil's tax rate soaring from 10% to 50%, the highest. Countries such as the Philippines are between 20 and 30%. Trump released tariff letters to world leaders on his own platform, warning that he would raise the tariff rate again if he retaliated, and a total of 22 countries have been released so far, excluding Taiwan. Trump emphasized reciprocal tariffs and U.S. protections, and announced the launch of a Section 301 investigation against Brazil. News highlights: a beautiful girl once in 1,000 years. Kana Hashimoto is about to become a wife. She has been dating actor Daiichi Nakagawa for 3 years, although it was rumored that they had broken up. They actually lived together sweetly, and they were moved to tears and agreed to propose. The two met because of a cooperative movie, fell in love, raised a dog together, and their love developed steadily, and they are now preparing for marriage in a low-key manner. The brokerage companies on both sides have not yet responded. News highlights: affected by the low-pressure belt and southwest winds, heavy rain in many places in southern Taiwan has become a disaster. Today, 10th, Kaohsiung, Tainan, Pingtung, a total of 26 districts announced the suspension of classes. Yunlin, Chi. Some schools are also suspended, and 3 townships in Taitung are also suspended. A rockfall broke out on the Dabang Highway in Alishan, Chi, and the Meteorological Department continued to issue heavy rain warnings. In order to prevent disasters and ensure safety, local governments have announced relevant contingency measures for tomorrow. News highlights: internet celebrity Xian lawyer Li Yuxian was involved in the Ling Yuta fraud case. Although he denied the involvement in the case and emphasized the normal operation of the firm, he still suffered a heavy damage to his image. Mirror Weekly reported that the signboard of its law firm has been quietly removed, and it is suspected that the building is empty. Li issued a statement clarifying that the stable dating partner was her boyfriend in the technology industry, denied rumors with the Air Force and wealthy businessmen, and stressed that the travel record was misunderstood as showing off wealth, calling on the outside world to stop using false rumors and wait for judicial clarification. News highlights: Hong Kong director Wang Jing revealed that Jackie Chan was slapped 3 times by a crazy female fan, and the other party changed his appearance and hid among the fans, just to let Jackie Chan remember her, but Jackie Chan did not pursue it, and only let the bodyguard take it away. Wang Jing pointed out that in the past, fans were crazy about celebrities, and if there were female fans who spent a lot of money to chase Andy Lau, their families were ruined. Jackie Chan also said that he did not dare to make the marriage news public, for fear that Japanese fans would jump off the building in excitement. These events show the emotional entanglement between former stars and fans and their costs. News highlights: Nintendo Switch 2 officially went on sale today, 10th, and Agent Justin held its first sale party in the early morning at the A11 flagship store in Xinyi Xintiandi, Taipei, attracting hundreds of fans to queue up, providing 1,000 Switch 2 Mario Kart combos on the spot, and giving away limited charms, handbags and other peripheral gifts. Those who are unable to attend the event can purchase them in limited quantities through Yahoo Shopping. The pre-order boom led to a 6-fold year-on-year increase in Switch sales, a doubling in sales of video games, and a PS5 that saw a strong performance due to price cuts and new game sales. News highlights: in addition to electric vehicles, Tesla is also actively developing its energy business, and recently invested 4 billion yuan to build China's largest grid-side energy storage power station in Shanghai, using megapack battery packs to stabilize the grid and cope with the imbalance between supply and demand of renewable energy. Tesla's Shanghai Energy Storage Gigafactory has been put into operation, with an annual output of 10,000 megapacks, and exported to Asia and Europe. There are also examples in Taiwan. Home power wall products are also available. The energy storage business will grow its revenue by 67% year-on-year in the first quarter of 2025, which has become an operational bright spot amid the decline in automotive revenue, and Wall Street analyzes that the energy storage potential may even surpass the automotive business. News highlights: on the second day of the Hankuang 41 exercise, the Navy dispatched 2 Tuajiang-class ships and Anjiang ships to Hualien port to be on standby to deal with the activities of the Chinese Communist ships in the eastern waters at any time. This morning, the Coast Guard ships also made a large-scale sortie to simulate monitoring of the Chinese ships. The exercise continued last year's strategy of strengthening the eastern region's naval combat capability, focusing on verifying the ability of coastal combat deployment and Coast Guard ships to switch between peacetime and wartime, and improving the efficiency of defense and response in the eastern region. News highlights: US President Trump recently made a big move to impose reciprocal tariffs on many countries, and the first wave on the 7th targeted 14 countries, including Japan, South Korea, Indonesia, Thailand, etc., with a tax rate of up to 40%, and Taiwan was not included. On the 9th, 6 more tariff letters were issued, imposing tariffs ranging from 20% to 30% on the Philippines, Brunei, Iraq, and other countries, and then announced an increase to 50% for Brazil, which is currently the highest. The move was interpreted as Trump's heavy-handed approach to trade and diplomatic frictions, emphasizing fair trade and reciprocity. News highlights the Hongkuang No. 41 exercise of the Nationalist Army entered its second day, and although the weather was unstable, all units of the three armed forces continued to perform as planned. Air Force fighters carried out transfer preservation, and cooperated with supermarket chains in air defense refuge drills to verify the resilience of the military and civil defense system. The Army's M1A2T tank conducted Taiwan's first live-fire live broadcast in the morning, and President Lai Ching-te personally attended to witness it. In addition, the 269th Brigade of the Northern Infantry Brigade simultaneously carried out an important target response exercise, simulating the defense of key facilities around Darwin Airport and responding to possible enemy offensives. News highlights as the results of the Taiwan-US tariff negotiations are about to be announced, Kuomintang Chairman Zhu Lailun plans to agree to include 150 billion yuan in territorial resilience and 100 billion yuan in subsidies from Taiwan Power in the executive yuan's draft, triggering a backlash within the party. The original blue and white version, which advocated the deletion and main focus on universal cash, has now taken a sharp turn, with fierce criticism from party groups and supporters, and some even questioned the KMT's surrender to the DPP. Fu Kunking, the General Secretary of the Party Caucus, said that the bill has not yet been finalized and a decision will be made after discussion at the Party Caucus meeting on Friday. News highlights affected by heavy rain and typhoons, all localities announced the suspension of classes in classes. Taitung Dahu Township, Daran Township, and Lanyu, Yunlin Kaoling Elementary School has been suspended. Kaohsiung City's 5 mountainous districts, Pingtung's 9 original townships, Tainan Xining and other 12 districts, as well as Yunlin Kaoling Elementary School all stopped going to work in classes on the 10th. Pingtung has set up a 3-level disaster response center to be highly vigilant against landslides and collapses. A dammed lake was found in the Yunlin Kaoling section and the road was closed to prevent the embankment from bursting, reminding the public to pay attention to safety and pay attention to official announcements. News highlights the U.S. plans to announce tariff rates on semiconductors at the end of July or early August, causing concern in the industry. Although the proportion of direct sales to the United States is not high, Taiwan factories are still facing the pressure of 3 kills. First, customers may reduce prices due to tariff pass-through. Second, the future U.S. tax will increase the export risk of Taiwan factories. And third, the appreciation of the new Taiwan dollar will lead to the aggravation of foreign exchange losses. The industry is worried that the results of the U.S. investigation will severely damage the profitability of the supply chain, and it is necessary to plan pricing and hedging strategies in advance to prevent potential shocks. News highlights Nvidia's market capitalization briefly exceeded $4 trillion yesterday, setting a new milestone for U.S. stocks and surpassing tech giants such as Apple and Microsoft. Driven by strong demand for AI, founder Jensen Huang has become the 10th richest person in the world with a fortune of $142 billion, surpassing Bill Gates and Dell founder Michael Dyer, according to the Bloomberg Rich List. Huang Zhengxun is worth NT $4.1 trillion, returning to the 4 trillion man throne, and his wealth has skyrocketed by more than 800 billion yuan in the past 2 years, mainly from Huida's 3.5% stake. News highlights Miali Jiantai High School broke out that the sub-subject test and examination subject group reported an error, and about 23 candidates did not match the actual needs of the original subjects. The Ministry of Education pointed out that there are multiple checkpoints in the application process, and it is the responsibility of both students and schools. The University Examination Center emphasized that the school has not applied for amendments during the correction period, and the pre-examination examination has been in full swing, and the temporary changes may affect the fairness and safety of all candidates, and will be handled in accordance with the original regulations and cannot be remedied. The incident sparked dissatisfaction among students and parents, who criticized the school's negative attitude towards the incident. News highlights the Hidden and Wula detachments of the new Taipei City Fire Department dispatched boats to rescue the drowning people in Xindian district on the 8th, but the boat was overturned by the torrent, and 3 firefighters were drowned and sent to the hospital. 37-year-old Wu Inzhuo and 36-year-old Zhang Jingqian have died successively, and 34-year-old Cao Shuangchuan is still being rescued in the intensive care unit. Zhang Jingqian was severely deprived of oxygen in the brain, and his family reluctantly decided to remove the life support device. Prosecutors investigated the cause of death into respiratory shock and hypoxic encephalopathy. The rescue process was questioned about the closure of the reservoir without first notifying it, and the fire department said that it would notify the management bureau to close the water gate within 4 minutes before launching the water. News highlights senior political host Liu Beijia created the classic program Critical Moment in a unique style, and he disappeared for nearly half a year after resigning without warning at the beginning of this year. Recently, he rarely appeared at the birthday party of senior media person Huang Shikeng, wearing casual clothes and his former professional image, becoming the focus of the scene. Liu Beijia used to say, "Beijia, what do you think?" And other golden sentences are deeply rooted in the hearts of the people, and internet memes are popular in Taiwan, China, and South Korea. Huang Shikeng said that Liu Beijia's resignation had disrupted the rhythm of work, but he still thanked him for attending the birthday party, which made fans cry out for surprise and touch. News highlights Typhoon Donna's peripheral circulation brought heavy rain for several days, and 70% of the farmland in the dragon fruit producing areas of Zhonghua County, such as Erlan and Puxin, was flooded, and some of the water accumulated exceeded 1 meter, causing serious soaking of dragon fruit plants and fruits, and farmers may lose more than 1 million yuan. Chen Chend, a frequent winner of the dragon fruit competition, said that the continuous rainfall and drainage were not enough, and the initial estimate was that the loss was 80%, and there was a fear of diseases such as root failure. Other crops, such as eggplant, were also affected by the flooding, with farmers braving the rain to harvest them. The Zhonghua Agricultural Department has sent personnel to investigate the disaster and will launch cash assistance and low-interest loans to help farmers tide over the difficulties. News highlights Jay Zhou is rumored to be stationed on Douyin to open an account. Classmate Zhou. The news sparked heated discussions, driving the share price of its concept stock Superstar Legend 06683 to soar up to HK $12.86, and its market value once soared to about HK $9.4 billion, about NT $370 billion, and the major shareholder Zhou's mother Yang Wimei held 56.6% of the shares, and her worth soared to NT $19.7 billion overnight. Superstar Legend focuses on Jay Zhou related IP, and Zhou's mother has been responsible for financial management and asset investment for a long time, including Taipei real estate and artworks, making Jay Zhou a good financial manager. The news also led to an enthusiastic response from the investment market, leading to a surge in turnover. News highlights Miali Private Jiantai High School made a serious mistake and collectively reported errors in the students' subject tests, and biology students were admitted to history, and history students were applied for biology, affecting more than 20 candidates. The error was discovered on July 7, but the problem was difficult to remedy because it missed the confirmation deadline. The Education Department and legislator Chu Zhenjun are actively assisting in the fight for make-up examinations or temporary examination rooms, hoping to restore students' rights and interests in taking examinations, but the big examination center has not yet agreed to the remedial plan because the test papers have been sent to the examination room and are worried about affecting the 39,000 candidates in Taiwan. The school did not respond to the incident, which caused concern and dissatisfaction from the outside world. News highlights U.S. President Donald Trump announced that he would raise tariffs on Brazil to 50%, up from 10% in April, and blamed Brazil for violating free elections and freedom of expression, linking the tariff hike to Brazilian politics. Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula noted that Brazil's judiciary handles coup cases independently, and refuted claims of a U.S. trade deficit, emphasizing that the U.S. has had a trade surplus with Brazil over the past 15 years. Tensions between the two sides continue over tariffs and political disputes. News highlights in a bizarre case of abandonment of corpses in Kobe City, Japan, the police found a white skeleton in the toilet of a garbage pile of collective houses, which was confirmed by DNA identification to be the 95-year-old mother of a 60-year-old man, Takeisa Miyawaki, who had died for more than a year without any traces of homicide. Miyawaki confessed that her mother died in the toilet about 10 years ago, and she was unable to communicate with others because she suffered from social phobia, so she did not report the incident. In May this year, he was found by the staff of the public office to have difficulty moving and was sent to the hospital, during which he evaded his mother's whereabouts. The police continue to investigate the truth. News highlights the recall of Taiwan has entered the third stage, and there is only half a month left before the July 26 vote. The KMT originally estimated that 8 legislators were in crisis, but the recent party assessment has been reduced to 3+1 seats. Former DPP legislator Shen Fuseung said in the program that if the recall momentum declines, the list of risks will decrease, and vice versa, it will increase, and it is estimated that 3 to 7 legislators of the KMT will be recalled. He stressed that if the KMT cannot get rid of the Red Hat label, no matter how much external help is given, it will still be difficult to stop the wave of recalls, and the situation is grim. News highlights the 114th academic year university subject test will be launched tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, but Miali Private Jiantai High School was shocked to report that 23 students reported the wrong subject examination, and the students who originally took the history exam in the literature group were mistakenly reported as biology, and the candidates in the science group were instead taken the history exam. According to the Ministry of Education, students and schools have multiple confirmation opportunities during the registration period, and the examination papers have been distributed to all examination districts, and the changes at this stage will affect the fairness of the examination, so it cannot be adjusted. The Ministry of Education will further understand the reasons for the collective error report and discuss the follow-up plan, but emphasize that the fairness of the test is the first principle. News highlights Hong Kong artist Yoon Man-on, a former member of the boy group E-Kids, was arrested on suspicion of stealing 11 items worth about HK $144.5, about NT $535, from a Kowloon City supermarket on June 18. The court did not appear at the hearing, which was scheduled for July 9, and the court issued an arrest warrant. Nguyen said on social media that he never planned to appear in court, and said that he had left Hong Kong, hinting that he would appear around the world. When the police arrested him, it was found that he was in possession of another person's credit card, and the card holder had assisted in clarifying it. Nguyen was also arrested in the past for violating the Hong Kong national security law, and his hardline attitude has caused controversy in publicly supporting the anti-extradition movement. News highlights: a male teacher at a private middle school in Taipei City had an extramarital affair with a female dormitory supervisor, and the two had sex in a motel, tutor's office, and dormitory. The housemaster even called the male teacher's wife, informing them of their relationship and threatening to make it public, violating spousal rights. The male teacher's wife filed a lawsuit for 1 million yuan, and the Taipei District Court found that the female dormitory supervisor had indeed violated the rights of her spouse and awarded 300,000 yuan in damages, and the female dormitory supervisor could appeal. The warden, arguing that there was no sustained harassment due to bona fide informing, asked for the lawsuit to be dismissed, while the male teacher admitted to the affair and described multiple sexual acts. The court held that the award of $300,000 was appropriate. News highlights: Humaira Asghar Ali, a well-known Pakistani actress, was found dead about 9 months after her home in Karachi, her body severely decomposed. The forced surrender of rent due to rent arrears was only discovered when law enforcement officers broke down the door. The police deduced that she would die around October 2024 based on the call records and neighbors' testimony, but the family refused to retrieve the body, triggering criticism from netizens. Humaira once participated in the talent show and became popular and won the National Women's Leadership Award, and colleagues in the entertainment industry mourned. The cause of death is still under investigation, and the police will deal with the matter of the uninherited body in accordance with the law. News highlights: studies have shown that sugary beverages containing high fructose corn syrup, HFCS, such as cola and soda, may increase the risk of colorectal cancer. Animal experiments at Cornell College of Medicine in the United States have shown that mice that consume a can of 25% corn syrup drink per day for a long time have significantly increased the volume of colorectal polyps. Experts remind that if high fructose intake exceeds the upper limit of intestinal absorption, tumors will use fructose as a nutrient to promote tumor growth and spread. For those at high risk of colorectal polyps or cancer, it is recommended to avoid HFCS-containing beverages and choose a low-sugar, high-protein, and high-fat diet instead. News highlights: U.S. President Donald Trump publicly stated that he would bomb Beijing if China invaded Taiwan during his campaign. In the recording, Trump said he had told Xi Jinping, "If you invade Taiwan, I will blow up Beijing." Xi Jinping responded in surprise after hearing this, "Beijing? You're going to blow it up?" Trump said it was a last resort, revealing that neither Xi nor Putin believed in his threats, but he believed that the other side only needed to believe 10% or even 5%. The remarks sparked international attention and highlighted the intensity of the U.S. China wrestling amid tensions across the Taiwan Strait. News highlights: the countdown to the recall vote in Taiwan, and Fu Kunking, the general director of the Kuomintang Legislative Yuan Caucus, became the focus of the recall. Hualien County Councilor Hu Renshun exposed photos of Fu Kunking chatting at the Hualien Farmers Association supermarket on Facebook, criticizing him, "Salary thief, who are you going to remove if you don't recall?" and reposted the live broadcast clip of Chen Huiven, pointing out that Fu Kunkai claimed to be the king of Hualien, but was not born in Hualien, criticized him for engaging in authoritarianism and personality cult, and even used music to introduce him at the event, questioning his behavior like an emperor. Hu Renshun emphasized that Fu Kunking was the first person who should be recalled and called on villagers to express their stance with their ballots, and the post aroused heated discussions and attention. News highlights: the general recall of Taiwan will be held on July 26, and a woman snatched the microphone and scolded a woman when a neutralization group supporting the recall was preaching on the street on the 9th, and a physical altercation broke out between the two sides. At that time, the volunteers begged for the microphone to be returned, and the woman asked for an apology first, and after Councillor Karina Chung took the microphone back, the conflict intensified and some volunteers were injured. Karina Chung posted on the social platform afterwards, thanking the volunteers for shooting the video, and said that the video has been handed over to the police for investigation, and the violent acts will be solemnly prosecuted through judicial channels, emphasizing that violent interference with the recall and propaganda has violated the law and cannot be tolerated. News highlights: Taiwan's I-Ching prophet Gao Fujin pointed out that Typhoon Danas, the first typhoon to make landfall in Taiwan this year, symbolizes the change of collective consciousness and potential storms, warning that if going against the sky could lead to disasters such as general recalls, fraud murders, and international disputes. The collapse of the Tianfu Archway and the statue of the Xinjiang Taigong in the Nankin dynasty suggests political turmoil and lawsuits. On the international front, he warned that the stock market is overheated, wars are frequent, and that stubbornness among leaders can lead to national regression. Gao also warned of financial fraud, major homicides, and the risk of a new wave of infectious diseases, and called on religion and politics to be pragmatic and reassuring. News highlights: Yang Kaiuchen, a member of the Kuomintang Taitung County Council, was passing through Mahunghung Avenue in Taitung City last night when the vehicle he was driving suddenly emitted thick smoke and caught fire. When the firefighters arrived, the vehicle had become a fireball, the fire was fierce, and only the frame remained, but fortunately no one was injured and did not affect his car. The vehicle is about 10 years old and is subject to regular maintenance, and the cause of the accident is yet to be professionally identified, which may involve a short circuit in the wiring or mechanical failure. Yang Kaiuchen expressed surprise at the accident, and there were no casualties in the whole incident. News highlights affected by the low-pressure belt and southwest winds. Heavy rain continued in Taichung City on the morning of the 9th, resulting in flooding in many places. People poured into Taichung Mayor Liu Zhihulian's Facebook to complain about the lack of holidays, and even used Zhonghua County Mayor Wang Huimei's grunt to mock the city government's ineffective response to last year's flooding. Wang Huimei recently needed to provide flooding photos due to flooding subsidies, which caused dissatisfaction among the public, questioning the difficulty of taking photos during the rainstorm. This meme continues to this day, and even Liu Zhihulian has become the target of ridicule, and the public has called for the suspension of classes to ensure safety. News highlights: Huang Stiruphui and the basket recorded the public television Taiwanese channel OK. Fight the formation to go abroad. He went to Singapore to visit Tony, the owner of a fast-fried restaurant in Taiwan. Huang Jianhui admitted frankly that he used to be a semiconductor engineer, and now regrets leaving TSMC, and even joked that if he knew that TSMC made so much money, he would continue to stay there and didn't want to live in the entertainment industry. In the show, the basket mistakenly called Wang Stiruphui Li Tsai, and laughed that he wanted to be Li Tenghui for a funny atmosphere. Huang Jianhui confidently ordered coffee for everyone, but because his pronunciation was inaccurate, he said that he wanted to quit the showbiz, and in the end he was debunked and could only accept ridicule, showing a relaxed and humorous interaction. News highlights: the classic Hong Kong drama Roselle starring Cai Xiaofen, Chen Hao, etc. Zhen Mi, played by Cai Xiaofen, has become a classic image because of her peerless appearance and superb acting skills. During the filming, she had to hold back her tears and snot for the scene of crying without tears, and often felt nauseous by swallowing her nose. In the hot shooting environment, she also used many bad fans to show her professionalism. In 2023, Cai Xiaofen will reproduce Zhen Mi's style and the famous scene tool covering her face in the reality show Riding the Wine 2023, making the audience nostalgic for the complex emotional entanglements in the drama back then, and the elegance is still the same. News highlights: 57-year-old artist Yi Nengjing and her husband Qin Hao have a daughter and a happy family. Recently, a family of 3 traveled to Paris, during which they were met by netizens in a restaurant without makeup. The unedited photos taken by netizens show that her face is pale, her face is slightly puffy, her hairline is receding, and her overall state is significantly different from the exquisite image in front of the camera, which is accused of exuding ant smell. In addition, Yi Nengjing was also captured in private when she visited the museum, and her body shape and hair volume were different from those in public, which aroused heated discussions among netizens. News highlights: artist Ma Qiaobi recently changed his name to Ma Qiaobi to actively repay debts and make a comeback, but was pretended to talk to him by netizen Teng, claiming to help him earn 530,000 yuan by playing games, which caused suspicion of fraud. Ma Qiaobi immediately issued a statement to clarify, emphasizing that there is no game app on the mobile phone, he does not know the netizen, and he has not won money at all, and has reported to the police, hoping to avoid more people being deceived. This incident reminds the public to be vigilant against the risk of online fake news and fraud. News highlights: Taiwanese singer Guo Tingyun became popular for her warm and rich voice, and was shortlisted for the Golden Melody Award, and married singer Peng Zheng in 2019 and had 2 sons. Yesterday, 9th, she had a cold that worsened after work, injected steroids for the video, and suddenly felt difficulty breathing, nausea, night sweats on the way home, and almost fainted in confusion, so she urgently asked her husband to help her go home to rest. Guo Tingjun described this as the closest distance to death, lamenting the preciousness of life. Fans and friends in the circle have left messages of concern, wishing her a speedy recovery. News highlights: South Korean actor Kim So-hyun was entangled with the late actress Kim Sa-ryan and suspected of being involved in a scandal involving underage relationships, and his image was damaged, which led to the withdrawal of many advertising endorsements. Recently, he sold a high-end apartment in Songdong-gu, Seoul for about 8 billion won, NT $187 million, reportedly to raise compensation for advertisers. The advertisers have applied to the court for a false seizure of Kim So-hyun's property and claimed about 3 billion won, NT $71.94 million. The lawyer said that if Kim So-hyun can restore his reputation, the lawsuit may have a turnaround. News highlights: Nvidia's market capitalization exceeded $4 trillion, becoming the first listed company in the world to reach this milestone, spurring the Nasdaq index to a record high, driving a strong rally in Taiwanese AI and Nvidia concept stocks. TSMC, Mediatek, Honhai, and other heavyweight stocks rose simultaneously. Taiwan Optoelectronics approached the 1,000 yuan mark, and Delta Electric's performance in June was outstanding, and its stock price hit a record high. The market capitalization of HUIDA exceeds the total stock market value of many countries, demonstrating the market's confidence in the rapid growth of AI, and the key supply chain fundamentals of Taiwan factories are rising in tandem with stock prices, becoming the focus of market capital chasing. News highlights: July 10th is the 94th birthday of TSMC founder Zhang Zongmu. He founded TSMC in 1987 and led the company to become a global foundry leader. Zhang Zongmu emphasized that leaders must have a clear direction, have followers, and bring outside information into the company. He advocates fairness and sincerity to employees, and technical expertise should be combined with business and marketing capabilities, not only to reduce costs, but to enhance product value. Zhang believes that leaders must mobilize their teams to meet challenges and focus on sales and marketing, which are key factors in his success. News highlights: the Hsinchu Taxation Bureau reminds that if there is a reserved land for public facilities under its name that has not been used for a long time, and it is clearly isolated from other land, it can apply for exemption from land value tax. This type of land is park, green space, or road land, which is privately owned but restricted from development and enjoys a special tax rate. The application must be submitted before September 22nd of each year, and will take effect in the current year after approval, and there is no need to repeat the application every year. The Inland Revenue Department, IRD, appeals to the public to ascertain the status of land use as soon as possible to avoid paying taxes in vain, and to consult the local tax authorities for assistance if in doubt. News highlights: former NBA player McLemore was sentenced to 100 months in prison, about 8 years and 4 months, by an Oregon state court today, 10th, for his 2021 sexual assault case, which severely damaged his career. The crime occurred on October 3, 2021, when the victim woke up after drinking and falling asleep at a party to find that she had been sexually assaulted. McLemore was convicted of multiple felonies and denied charges during the trial. Prosecutors say the victim's courage is admirable, and sexual violence will continue to be punished severely. The defense asserted that the parties were consensual but was not accepted by the court. McLemore, who was the 7th overall pick in 2013, moved to overseas leagues after 2022. News highlights: a kindergarten in Kaohsiung was exposed to an incident of improper discipline, and surveillance footage showed the teacher pulling the child, forcibly dragging the child, and even taking away the chair, causing the child to fall, and covering the child's face with clothes like a cloth bag for punishment, which made the parents sad. After the picture was exposed, the People's Congress demanded that the Education Bureau conduct a thorough investigation, hoping to give a fair explanation to parents and avoid the kindergarten from becoming a place of fear for children. News highlights: Indian-born Hong Kong star Chan Chunhua was diagnosed with stage 4 nasopharyngeal cancer last year, looking back on the year of struggling with the disease, describing neuralgia as thousands of ants crawling on the face, which was unspeakably painful, and the pain did not completely disappear until the third chemotherapy treatment. He received 12 rounds of chemotherapy and 33 sessions of radiotherapy, thanks to the support of his medical staff and family and friends. Domestic head and neck cancer experts pointed out that nasopharyngeal cancer is mostly affected by genetic inheritance, dietary habits, and Epstein-Barr virus infection, especially Asians and high-risk groups who eat pickled foods regularly. News highlights: National Taiwan University nutrition expert Hong Tai-seung reminded that Taiwanese excessive intake of red meat, seafood, and animal offal and other high-pulin foods may quietly damage kidney health, induce gout and kidney function decline. Red meat is rich in saturated fat and pulin, which increases the burden on the kidneys. Seafood, although considered a healthy alternative, also contains gophlin. Animal offal is the kidney killer with the highest content of pulin. It is recommended to consume 1 to 2 times a week with vegetables and low-oil cooking, and at the same time maintain kidney health with whole grains and sufficient water. News highlights: there are 8 common diseases of the female intimate area, including eczema, inflammation of hair follicles, Bartholin's cyst, candida infection, herpes simplex, genital warts, benign fibrous polyps and vulvar cancer. Symptoms are usually itching, redness, swelling, stinging, sometimes accompanied by discharge or skin changes, and some diseases are related to allergies, infections, or viruses. The doctor reminds that you should wear breathable cotton clothing every day, avoid excessive cleaning and use of harsh detergents, keep the vulva dry and pay attention to diet and rest to reduce the occurrence of problems, and seek medical attention as soon as possible in case of abnormal symptoms. News highlights: modern women often mistakenly think that the cleaner the intimate parts, the better, but Wang Lemming, director of the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology of Wanfang Hospital, pointed out that excessive cleaning will destroy the natural weak acidic environment of the vagina, resulting in the reduction of lactobacilli and the breeding of bad bacteria, causing vaginal inflammation and itching. It is not recommended to rinse the inside of the vagina, but the outside can be cleaned with a special intimate cleanser. Proper cleansing can help maintain vaginal health and avoid a vicious cycle. News highlights: the 3 most common troubles in women are menopause, premenstrual syndrome, and itching in the intimate area. Dietitian Wu Xinling pointed out that vaginal itching is mostly due to vaginal inflammation or skin sensitivity, and cranberries can help prevent urethritis, but the most effective for intimate itching is probiotics, which can adjust vaginal flora and reduce the risk of inflammation. For premenstrual syndrome, it is recommended to supplement gamma-linolenic acid to help regulate hormones and relieve emotional and physical discomfort. Nutritional supplementation should be tailored to the symptoms and avoid misuse of a single health supplement. News highlights: Hong Kong actor Xiang Zhou's recent style has been changeable, and it is rumored that he will star in the Republic of China-themed short drama The Nameless, partnering with Yu Yuding, who is known as the goddess of short drama costumes. Director Cheng Sen officially announced the news on Douyin. The actor has not yet been announced, but it is rumored on the internet that it is Xiang Zhou. There are a large number of martial arts scenes in the play, and netizens reacted enthusiastically to the casting. Some people praised Xiang Zhou's fighting scenes well, and some people complained that the actresses had few roles. This drama is accused of being the work of the big male lead, and it is expected that the female protagonist will have a limited role. News highlights: Xiao Zhong Chenjiun, revealed on the show a few days ago that he had fainted for an hour due to being drunk by the rich second generation, and he was forced to hold up the video the next day, but he only said 2 words when he was unwell, and even interrupted the recording to go to the toilet. This incident caused him to have a gastroenteritis attack and seek medical treatment, and then was mistaken by the production unit for a fraudulent notice and was banned for about 2 years. Xiao Zhong also shared his past social experience, and frankly said that the rich second generation likes to watch others get drunk, and he pretended to drink many times in order not to spoil the fun, but he was found to have experienced quite hard. News highlights: a member of the Passion Sisters of the Sidic Brothers cheerleading team, Hu Xinyi, recently shared on the show that she had a very bad gynecological experience. Because the menstrual period is as long as 2 months later, she met a male doctor when she went to the doctor, but the other party questioned her pregnancy. Although the X-ray and urine test confirmed that she was not pregnant, the doctor still did not trust her statement, and her indifferent attitude made Ji Eunjin feel aggrieved and dissatisfied, and her impression of the male doctor was greatly reduced. News highlights: at 9:19 a.m. today, 10th, there was a vehicle overturning accident at No. 3 National Highway in Beihe District, Tainan, and the players of a national high school baseball team in Chi took 2 vans to go to the Tatum Red Leaves game. The coach who drove the car and 7 members of the baseball team got out of trouble on their own, and they were all conscious and sent to the hospital with minor injuries. News highlights: the popular South Korean novel I Upgrade Alone will be a live-action remake on Netflix, with the male lead played by Byun Woo-seok. This work tells the story of Chang Jin-ayu, the weakest E-class hunter, who gradually grows into a top hunter after receiving the blessing of the system. The original work has been adapted into an anime, and it has been the top viewer with 14.3 billion views worldwide. The live-action version, which is a collaboration between Lee Ha-jun, director of Baekje Mountain, Peninsula Havoc, and cinematographer Kim Byung-soo, is highly anticipated, and fans are concerned about how to present the fantasy worldview of the original work. News highlights: media personality Lee Jung-geo criticized People's Party legislator Ma Yuzhan's poor Chinese proficiency, unable to even write the word gu, and even needed to be marked with phonetics, questioning his unsuitability to be a legislator. Ma Yuzhan responded by admitting that Chinese is not good, but stressed that legislators do not have to be top in Chinese, each has its own expertise, and is proud to learn Zhuyin in Taiwan. She also criticized Lee Jung-geo for relying on smearing the heat of the discussion, and ridiculed the other party for over-worshipping the DPP. The two sides argued fiercely over language proficiency and political positioning. News highlights: Typhoon Donas hit Tainan's Kigu district hard, the roofs of houses in Songlili were blown off, the belongings in the home were damaged by water, and the power outage in Yechengli was more than 5 days. Another 7 shares of a well-known wiring equipment factory in the early morning fire, burning an area of 4,500 square meters, the fire violently burned the plant. Fire continues to rescue. The double blow of the typhoon and fire caused serious losses to local residents and industries. News highlights: on June 29, a doctor surnamed Liao from Keelung Chonggung Hospital accidentally capsized while boating in Shangping Creek, Wufeng Township, Hsinchu, and was swept away by an underwater undercurrent and drowned. Dr. Liao was wearing a life jacket and failed to save himself, and the location of the incident was not illegal waters. The family issued a statement refuting the media misreporting and accusations of acid people, emphasizing that Dr. Liao and his companions were professional, denied the self-seeking claim, and called for an end to stigmatizing water activities. The family hopes to face up to the safety of waters, promote correct knowledge, and maintain the healthy development of Taiwan's water-friendly culture. News highlights: Typhoon Dennis coupled with the impact of low pressure and southwest winds, severe rain in the south, a total of more than 280,000 households in Tainan were without power, and more than 20,000 households in Chi were also affected. When the power tower of the Xinyan substation collapsed, Taipower erected 33 temporary towers in 1 day, carried out the first large-scale emergency repair of UHV level in 48 years, and completed the restoration of power within 67 hours. Taipower mobilized more than 10,000 people and 1,800 construction vehicles to repair the power outage, called on the public to report sporadic power outages through the app and website, and thanked everyone for their patience. News highlights: former U.S. President Donald Trump announced a new round of reciprocal tariffs, with Brazil being levied a maximum of 50% and Taiwan not included in the list. Former legislator Shen Fusiong analyzed that Taiwan's tariffs may fall between 20 and 25%, saying that this is not a government mistake, but the result of accumulating a trade surplus with the United States over the past 50 years. He pointed out that even concessions in exchange for lower tariffs would be controversial and the government would face a dilemma. News highlights: a fall occurred in Xinzhuang District, New Taipei City on the afternoon of the 9th. A 33-year-old woman surnamed Zhou was suspected of falling from the 11th floor of her home building and died on the spot. The family said that the woman only said that she wanted to go out for a ride before going out, but unexpectedly, there was a regrettable incident, and the detailed reason for the fall is still to be clarified. News highlights: the National Army's Han Kuang 41 exercise debuted yesterday, and for the first time this year, the concept of urban resilience was combined. After the alarm sounds, the store staff guides the customers to take refuge in the safe area, and simulates the alarm response, customer comfort, and wounding the injured. The Ministry of the Interior also announced that the 2025 Urban Resilience Exercise will be implemented in all sub-districts of Taiwan from July 15 to 18, covering 6 practical projects such as the issuance of warnings in evacuation and evacuation. News highlights: in view of the possible impact of the U.S. tariff policy on Taiwan, Shi Zhengfeng, a retired professor at Donghua University, said that the outcome of the US-Taiwan tariff negotiations may affect the future political situation. At present, the main reason for the customs jam may be the issue of agricultural products and automobile imports. If Taiwan's tax rate is the same as that of Japan and South Korea, it may affect small and medium-sized enterprises, which will be reflected in the ballot. However, he believes that the DPP still has a solid support base in the South, is confident in the recall war, and is still in a calm posture in terms of policy, and the overall layout has limited impact. News highlights: a Taiwanese family recently traveled to Okinawa, Japan, and when they checked into a local hotel, the child accidentally broke the designer chandelier at the bedside, and the hotel demanded compensation of nearly 150,000 yen, about NT $30,000. Although the parents are willing to compensate, they question the unreasonableness of the hotel's high-priced chandeliers. After the post was exposed, it was criticized by netizens for doing damage and complaining about it, believing that they should be responsible and should not shirk responsibility. The incident sparked a discussion that parents should pay attention to the safety of public property when traveling with their children. News highlights: a case of domestic violence and murder of his wife occurred in Dujin, New Taipei on the 7th, and after the man surnamed Xie was released in violation of the protection order, he hacked his wife and sister-in-law to death with a knife the next day. The Department of Protection of the Ministry of Health and Welfare said that except for the prosecution who was not detained, the overall police and social welfare dealt with it quickly. The case will be discussed at an interministerial meeting on July 14, and it is proposed to add a fatal danger list for the prosecution's reference to strengthen the assessment of detention and protection measures. News highlights: meteorological expert Xie Xingxing said that the weather environment in the next 10 days is conducive to the formation of typhoons, and it is necessary to pay attention to the development of the tropical system east of the Ryukyu Islands and the eastern sea of the Philippines. In terms of weather, the southwest wind will have a significant impact from the 10th to the 19th, and there will often be brief thunder showers in the afternoon in various parts of Taiwan, and there will be scattered rainfall opportunities in the early morning along the southern coast. The forecast points out that the potential for typhoon development before and after the 14th and 17th is high, reminding the public to pay attention to the latest weather information. News highlights: a large-scale fire broke out at more than 3 a.m. at the 5th factory of Tainan Kigo Kaishi Enterprise Co., Ltd. 10th, and the flames engulfed about 4,500 square meters of plant area, and the fire was not completely extinguished until more than 6 o'clock in the morning. According to the Tainan City Fire Department, there are no chemical substances involved in the fire, and 49 firefighters, firefighting robots, and drones were dispatched to the scene to support, and excavators were invited to assist in disaster relief, and there are no casualties so far. The preliminary estimate of the damage is serious. The exact cause of the fire and the amount of financial damage are still to be investigated and clarified. The traffic at the scene is temporarily controlled, and the aerial footage of the fire scene shows that the scene is like a sea of flames, and the situation is amazing.